Hi all, my name is Angela. I'm a gardener here in central Alberta, here in Canada, and today I wanted to share with you some of the Canadian seed companies that I order from. I've been gardening for most of my life, and usually in the past I would just pick up seeds at the garden center, at Canadian Tire, or wherever, and those seeds are great. I've never had any problems with them. But when I started growing more, I wanted more seeds, and I wanted to make sure that I had the varieties that I wanted, and heirloom varieties. So, rabbit hole. I've started looking for seed companies here in Canada. These are the larger companies that I buy from: Vessey's, West Coast Seeds, Ontario Seed Company, and William Dam. Those are good. You've heard about them. I've never had a problem with any of their seeds. They're awesome. But I have quite a few seeds from companies that are smaller that you might not have heard of that are also just as awesome. When I was planning out this video, I wasn't sure how I was going to film all the different companies, so I decided to go west to east based on location of the company. It just seemed like a good way of sorting it. Then if you have a preference for regionality, you can go with the seeds in your region. For some of the larger companies, they're getting them from seed distributors, so they're not necessarily growing things regionally. But for some of the really small companies, they're growing their own seed, and so those will be regionally adapted to your area. But seeds want to grow, so they'll grow. First off, West Coast Seeds. The majority of my collection of seeds probably comes from them. They're reliable. They have a lot of organic options. They've got a lot of information on their seed packets, including the germination rate, which I love to see, and instructions on how to grow things. Their website also is incredibly chock full of information, and their seed catalog that they publish every year also has a lot of information. And you get a lot of seed per package, depending on what it is, especially things like beets and carrots. Even this broccoli, there's 290 seeds in that. I'm never going to use 290 seeds. 230 for the cauliflower. So, and these are all just the smallest packages that they offer. You can find them at garden centers. I have a bad habit of, when I see them, I just pick them up. I have 2 packages of seeds in my husband's car right now in the glove box because we bought chicken food and they had a seed rack at the farm store, and I decided to just grab some while we were there and then completely forgot about them because they were the only small thing that we had, so I threw them in the glove box. I should go get those. We're going to call that cold stratification. The second company that I order from in BC is Cicada Seeds. They're a small company. She focuses mostly on perennial vegetables. And perennial vegetables aren't great in the prairies, but I figured I'd give them a shot. And if they're just annual, then they're just annual. And she's got a lot of very unusual things too, and I like unusual and pretty things. So I grabbed potato onion, the perennial kale grax. This has gorgeous colors in the photos that she had. Maximilian sunflower, which is a perennial sunflower, and the Mariah leaf amaranth. I am looking forward to starting all of those this year in my garden. Moving along, we hit the prairies, and I have ordered previously from 3 companies here in the prairies. I'm again in Alberta, so this is my regionally adapted seed companies. Here in central Alberta where I am, Moonglow Seeds, I think they're just on the other side of Edmonton than me. They have all these fun sort of weird, unusual, rare type seeds. Dragon's Eye, that's always going to catch my interest. This one is an anthro black shadow. It's a dark black tomato. I love those. I grow a couple of varieties like that in my garden. And then I am always a sucker for a pretty bean, especially a bush bean. Bush beans tend to be better where I am on the prairies because I get a lot of really strong winds, and the bush beans just seem to adapt better to that. Look at that pale lavender gray. So pretty. I have more seeds from all of these. I just grabbed just a few to share. Prairie Garden Seeds is in Saskatchewan. You can't really read that, but this is a ghost cherry tomato. I grew this last year. It was pretty tasty. It's supposed to be one of those like fuzzy peach type ones. I didn't really notice it, but I only grew one plant on the deck. I only got a couple fruits because we had a rough growing year last year. We had a frost in mid-June, which is unusual but not unheard of, which knocked a lot of my plants back. I did manage to cover them, but the tomatoes did suffer. Early Alberta is a rare variety. They have a lot of rare varieties from Canada. Early High Crimson is also a pretty rare variety. And these are dry bean black cocoa. It's just a black bean. I've been trying to grow more beans in my garden. And then Heritage Harvest Seeds. I've been ordering from them for a few years now. They're in Manitoba, and they specialize, again, in rare, endangered heirloom vegetables, flowers, and herbs. Bulgarian carrot pepper, early Mohawk bean, elephant head amaranthus, Shishyak cucumber, which I think is a Ukrainian cucumber. I think it might be a white cucumber too. So yeah, those are the prairie companies that I have bought from and highly recommend. As an honorable mention, T&T Seeds is in Manitoba as well. I haven't actually ordered seeds from them. I'll probably order some this year. But I have ordered their trees. I ordered a few cherry trees from them last year. They have the dwarf prairie super cold hardy trees. These ones. The Cupid, Romeo, and Juliet. And they are currently planted in my garden. I want more Nanking cherries, so I might order them again. They're bare roots. I also got a choke cherry from them. Anyways, the plants were amazing. I highly recommend them for plants, and I'm looking forward to ordering their seeds. Moving right along to Ontario. I order a lot of seeds from William Dam. They're located in sort of southern Ontario, not far from Hamilton, and I found them because they actually have an operation that is just to the south of where both my grandpas had their greenhouse operations in Ontario. They both retired way back in the 80s and 90s, so we're talking a while ago, but I was looking for seed companies that they might have ordered from locally, and William Dam came up. And so I ordered, and then I really liked their seeds, and I continued to order with them. They are a family operation, so you have to make sure you order well in advance of the year because they do get backlogged. So this time of year, they are accepting orders, but it might take a while to ship to you. What I do is I order usually in the fall for the next year. It works for me. It means I don't have to worry about a package in the mail, when is it being shipped, that sort of thing. And I buy a lot of the cut flowers from them as well as vegetables. They've got a good variety of both. If you're looking for like a Canadian market gardener sort of solution, if you have a lot of land, both William Dam and West Coast Seeds have like big bulk packs for farmers, and their seeds are good. They also include the germination rate, amount of seed, and instructions for growing. I got this collard because it's a Dutch variety, and my grandpa, who grew in the area, was Dutch, so I figured, you know, sounds fun. These are just pretty. Perpetual chard. It's probably not going to be perennial in my area, but I like some greens. And Goldana turnip. We eat a lot of turnips. And these are like golden crooknet. They do really, really well for me on the prairies. So I will be growing them for years. A bit of a specialty location. Richter's Seeds. They grow a lot of, they sell a lot of herbs, and they sell plants. I bought plants from them. I bought some elderberry and some smaller perennials from them, and they also did very well. I enjoyed their shipping methods. It arrived quickly. Their seeds always have a lot in the package. This is a broccoli. It's an Italian variety that has like the multiple sprouts. Some pearly everlastings, which are a dried cut flower, and then a couple echinaceas. I have way more of their seeds. I just didn't feel like poking through all of my herbs to pull them all out. Plus, their packages aren't my favorite. They are one-time opening, and then they're just open. They're the Mylar bags. It's not horrible, but it's not my favorite. So I always have to keep a paper clip on them, and I keep all of my herb seeds in Ziplocs anyways, in groups. Like all my cilantros together, all my other herbs sorted by type in Ziplocs. And then last on the Ontario selection is OSC, Ontario Seed Company. I've been ordering from them 6 years now. You can also get these in stores, like the garden centers in Edmonton have these on the shelf. So I'll pick them up at like Salisbury when I come into town. But I like their seeds. They're a very decent price. They're more economically priced than some of the other companies. But they still have some unusual things. They have good seed information on the back. I grew this sweet dumpling 2 years ago, and I really liked it. Lettuce, some veggies. They also have the Amers Organics. It's part of their lineup in the Amers International. And I usually get some of theirs. We eat a lot of like Guylan and that sort of stuff, just in our day-to-day cooking. So having some that we can grow is always good to have. Yeah, there's Ontario. I only have one company that I've ordered seeds from Quebec. I found them last year, and I really like their seeds. They're a small company, very small company. I think it's just someone growing in their backyard and then selling the seed. Someone says des artisans. I am Albertan. I am so sorry that I do not speak good French despite 7 years of French lessons in public school and then some in university too. It is not my teacher's fault. It is my fault. I really like this company. They've got some really interesting, unusual varieties, a lot of heirlooms, a lot of open pollinated, just pretty stuff. Like this is a bird egg bush bean. They're just pretty. This is one of the peppers that I got between the lines. They didn't grow for me last year, but not because of the seed, but I had a lot of problems with my soil when I was starting my seeds. I had dampening off across the board. All the peppers that I started damped off from every company that I had ordered peppers from. This is the Rebel Starfighter Prime tomato. We're huge Star Wars fans in this household, and I felt that I should grow this tomato. It's pretty unusual. It's very pretty. I have written all of the English translations onto the back. This one also had damping off, so I'm looking forward to growing it this year instead. And then this is a blue seeded bush bean. It's super pretty. They don't look super blue on the camera, but I can see the blue in them in person quite easily. It's sort of like a brownish blue. And I'm looking forward to growing these again too. And that was Quebec. On to the Atlantic provinces. I have 2 here from Nova Scotia and 1 from PEI. I've been ordering from Bessie's for quite a few years now, and this is one of the companies that I know that one of my grandpas ordered from fairly frequently, if not both grandpas. They shared a lot of resources since they were doing the same business in the same area. Annapolis Seeds and Incredible Seed are both small family-owned operations that do heirloom and open pollinated varieties. So a lot of land races, a lot of stuff that's adapted to the Maritimes. I was looking for stuff that was a little bit more cold hardy when I was doing some of my looking last year. Plus, my in-laws and my husband are from Newfoundland, so I was looking for stuff that was maybe a little bit more regional specific for some of their dishes. And I was also looking, there's a King of the Early Pepper or something like that, and I got it from this company as well. I just didn't pull it out right now. So Annapolis Seeds, good sized seed packages, beautiful cover art. I imagine that they had a lot of orders, so some of them are just their blank envelopes. Shipping was great, very friendly. Incredible Seed Company. I want to grow some watermelons here on the prairies. I know others have had tremendous success, especially with this Blacktail Mountain variety. It's 70 days, so I should have enough heat for that if I plant it in the right location. Turnip, more greens, and then the Great White Tomato. I was specifically looking for this one because I have a couple of green tomato relishes that my grandma made their canning recipes, safe canning recipes through, like, she used like Ball Cooking and Bernardin to use up like green tomatoes, and I thought, you know, it might be really fun to try it with some like white ones as well, and like I like the novelty, so I found seeds through them. Easy shipping, friendly. I like buying local as much as I can too. And then Bessie's has been around since forever in PEI. I've been wanting to grow a delicata for a while, so I grabbed seeds for that. I always grow some calendula in my garden because it's pretty cold hardy and we can have cold snaps. Some straw flower. I've been growing straw flower. This is a second package. I grew a different mix before, but I like having them around. They're very good as a long-lasting cut flower. And then a couple of varieties of marigold. I always grow marigolds in my garden and in my tomatoes on the deck, just as a little bit of a pest deterrent. And starting them from seed instead of buying many plants from the garden center is a good way of doing it. And lastly, we just have Mackenzie seed. I've been picking up seed packages at basically everywhere they're sold, and they're sold everywhere. Since I started growing, like, as a kid, these were the plants that my mom would buy seeds for us to grow in the garden. We had like a little kid garden. So they're decently priced, like $2 for a package of zucchini seeds. I bought these, I think, in 2020, and I'm still using seeds from this package, and they're germinating just fine. I may sow extra this year. I may not. They have organic varieties that you can also just pick up and Canadian Tire. It's always a good amount of seed. So if you're on a budget, this is a good way of getting going, getting started. You don't have to pay for shipping. They have unusual varieties, still under their overhead, like their overall seed company. And this is a variety that is Mackenzie seeds as well, despite having like an Italian type brand name. You can see it says Mackenzie seeds right there. Perfectly acceptable to just get seeds from Lowe's or Rona now, again, or Canadian Tire, or wherever you may happen to be that has a seed rack. You can also pick these up in garden centers too. But yeah, those are the Canadian seed companies that I have been ordering from for, well, anywhere from just last year to the last 30 years. And I hope that you have found something that you would enjoy growing as well. Thanks. Good luck on the garden this year. Bye.